Join me as I take on the challenge of trying pufferfish for the first time, and see if it's really worth the deadly risk. Pufferfish, or fugu, is considered a delicacy in Japan, and yet, it's infamous for containing a deadly neurotoxin that can be fatal if ingested. But why would anyone risk their life for a meal? For the Japanese, fugu represents a luxury food item that's deeply rooted in their culture and history. Only licensed chefs are allowed to prepare it, and the process of eating it is often seen as an exclusive and sophisticated experience. There are good reasons why eating pufferfish is extremely dangerous. The fish's organs, including the liver, ovaries, and eyes, contain a toxin called tetrodotoxin, which is up to 1,200 times deadlier than cyanide. If ingested, it can cause paralysis, respiratory failure, and eventually, death. To make matters worse, there's no antidote available, and the only treatment is to try and flush out the toxin from the body as quickly as possible. The risk of poisoning is ever present, even when the fish is prepared by a licensed chef. The process of preparing fugu is extremely meticulous, and requires years of training to master. Chefs must carefully remove the toxic organs and slice the fish into thin pieces to minimize the risk of poisoning. The slightest mistake can be fatal, and that's why only a handful of chefs in Japan are licensed to serve fugu. In fact, the training process is so rigorous that many chefs opt out of learning how to prepare it, preferring to focus on other dishes instead. Despite the risks, many people are drawn to the thrill and exclusivity of eating fugu. In Japan, it's considered a luxury food item, and is often served at special occasions like New Year's Eve or weddings. The experience of eating fugu is often described as a combination of excitement and fear, as the diner is acutely aware of the risks involved. One of the most famous fugu chefs in Japan is Yoshiaki Takazawa, who has been preparing the dish for over 30 years. According to him, the key to serving fugu safely is to be meticulous and focused, and to never take shortcuts. He believes that the art of preparing fugu is not just about the food itself, but about the experience and the cultural significance that surrounds it. I was lucky enough to try some fugu at a licensed restaurant in Tokyo, and I have to say, it was an unforgettable experience. The fish was served as sashimi, and I could feel my heart racing as I took my first bite. The flavor was incredibly delicate, and it melted in my mouth like butter. But even as I was enjoying the taste, I couldn't shake off the feeling of fear that lingered in the back of my mind. In 2015, a Japanese chef named Akira Taniguchi died after consuming a piece of fugu that he had prepared himself. The incident shocked the culinary world, and it served as a stark reminder of the dangers involved in eating this delicacy. It's a sobering thought, and one that makes you wonder if the risk is really worth the reward. In the end, the question remains, is eating pufferfish worth the deadly risk? For many people, the answer is a resounding yes. The thrill of eating something that could potentially be fatal is a major draw, and the cultural significance of fugu in Japan is undeniable. But for others, the risk is simply too great, and the thought of eating something that could kill them is too daunting. Thanks for joining me on this culinary adventure. If you've ever had a near-death experience with exotic foods, or if you've tried fugu yourself, let me know in the comments below. And if you're feeling adventurous, be sure to check out my video on other dangerous delicacies from around the world.